Thank you, Wiggolly Dantas, for your version of the GoPro Break Breakdown, breaking down the best left-hander in the world here at Cloud Break. Dantas now taking on the Tahitian Michel Bourez for a spot into the quarterfinals. The winner of this heat takes on 11-time world champ Kelly Slater. Maybe, potentially, tomorrow on finals day. We'll still wait for that official word from our commissioner, KP, on how long he wants to go throughout today's action, because it's absolutely perfect. During the break, Dantas got started, Potts.
Yeah, you know, had a bit of a slow start. He's had some scary heats to get to the stage right now, and just wants to vamp it up. He knows he's got Michel Bourez. He knows he needs to do something special, that's for sure. So Wiggolly starting off really quickly. Not a huge score though, 217 on his opening account and a 417 right there to back it up. Michel Bourez answers back.
The Spartan locks in, slams on the brakes right on the takeoff, and disappears beautifully. This wave trimming down the line and spits without the Spartan. So he'll start with an incomplete barrel attempt.
Wow, what happened there? I thought he had that one, Joe. Maybe just slowing down too much, maybe?
We saw him in the first heat on some absolute bombs, trying to slam on the brakes to slow down. This time, looked like his read was perfect and something went wrong inside the tube.
You know, it's got to be difficult. I mean, you're sitting there jumping out of your skin, you know. You've got to try and settle yourself down and focus on trying to win a heat. Let's have a look. Michel Bourez, perfect style there, drags, beautiful bottom turn. Now he's in the barrel. He's got to stay ahead of that foam ball. That section unloads in front of him and sort of catches him. So that foam ball literally took the board from out under his feet, and down he goes. I thought he was in an absolute perfect position right there, nice and deep. That's what you want to be. But this wave just running away from him, so he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, maybe not slow down as much on the next occasion, but every wave's different out here, so you've got to act accordingly.
Talked about the Brazilian storm. We have Medina and Adriano in the first quarterfinal matchup, two world champions going head-to-head. This is the Spartan now, deep bottom turn, puts himself ultra deep in the barrel. This one's going to run down the reef without him once again.
Yeah, Michel taking off super deep. I think he's kind of maybe readjust. You can see those ribs coming off the reef. That tide's starting to come in.
Now taking off out the back is Wiggolly, just real quick. Not the wave he was looking for. So he'll hold his position and priority. Both these surfers staying on the island of Tavarua have their quivers totally dialed. We've been watching Bourez surf on the firewires for a long time now.
Michel Bourez's boards, I mean, even though they're that firewire design, I mean, a lot heavier than one expects.
Paddling into this one is Wiggolly Dantas. He'll fade the takeoff. Now just casually stalling for the barrel. It's already spitting once behind him. Now he disappears. Comes out quickly, now setting up the rail work. Just forms out on that front side raft, and he'll start trying to improve on that total out front.
Yeah, just getting the ball rolling is Wiggolly Dantas. 217, 417, that's going to be another good score. It's going to eliminate that 217, increase that scoreline required by Michel Bourez. You can see Wiggolly paddling over to the jet ski. The jet ski can't come into that lineup. It'll send that wake through the wave, which is not what you're looking for. So you've got to get yourself into a certain part of the zone there to be able to be picked up by the jet ski. Let's have a look at Wiggolly's wave here. First wave in the set. Draws off the bottom, hits the brakes, spits behind him, and now he sort of gets covered up there. So nice positioning from Wiggolly Dantas. And then that trademark wraparound gouge by the young Brazilian. And a 4.07. So increasing his lead over Michel Bourez. Beautiful vision from the channel here. Look at that, absolutely perfect conditions, flawless out here at Cloud Break, but this heat proving to be very tricky, as was the last one, Joe.
As far as the numbers are concerned, any view from the channel, they could be cover shots in magazines around the world. The water looks magical, it's perfect. These guys can make the barrels look so clean. They have style inside the tube. None of these guys are looking like they're doing the safety stance thing. They're the best surfers in the world, and they make it look so easy when they draw their lines. Yep. Wiggolly's got one of the easiest styles to watch on tour. and making a move. He's just counting a 1.67 and a 1.0. A 6.57 gets him the lead. Big pump from deep, squares up in an absolute cavern. That thing will spit, and Michel Bourez does not come out. Set that one up with total confidence and put it all on the line. He just pops up. Bourez is tombstoning behind him. Would have been a massive score, one of the bigger sets we've seen in this heat. And he's still chasing that 6.37.
Well, that would have been a 10 if he had to come out of that, that's for sure. That was a huge wave from Michel Bourez. Let's see if we can work out what happened here. Kind of bumpy, lumpy, a lot of ribs on the face of the wave. And right there, that foam ball just ate him up. And what happens once that lip lands out in the flats, it shoots this white water back up the face of the wave. And if you're not ready for that, it can literally upend you, unhinge you, and really send you over the handlebars. And that's exactly what happened to Michel Bourez. So a tricky wave right there. Maybe another foot or two ahead of that, and he would have come flying out of that thing.
What a big attempt from Bourez. His third attempt to fly out of the barrel. He's been clamped on all three choices. That one the biggest one and the riskiest one. Dantas still out front. 4.17, 4.07. More waves on the way. Wiggolly performed here quite well as a wild card and last season, finding success here at Cloudbreak. And looks like he's giving this one a go. Dantas. Easy takeoff, casual off the bottom, jams it right into the barrel. This wave's gonna spit behind him over the foam ball, and he's got a perfect line to come out. Lip line lands on his head, but he had a perfect stance to get the completion, and that'll be the best wave of the heat so far.
Yeah, definitely. That was a tricky barrel as well. I think Wiggolly maybe got a little bit too deep, a little bit deeper than he thought. Foam balled it and then just got clipped at the end, but managed to hang on to that one. Super strong kid, so yeah, he's just managed to pull that one off.
Strider, looks like he's ready to go with Stephen Bell. Strider, what do you got?
Well, out here with Stephen Bell, he's got his eyes on the lineup for obvious reasons. He's the pit boss for Quicksilver, and right now he's got Wiggolly out there. Obviously Wiggolly dangerous out here. What makes him so dangerous?
I think he probably surfs the most out here, Strider. He's out here every free surf, first boat in the morning, every day of the week, even on those tiny days we had. So he's pretty hungry, as most of these guys out here know, so he's always trying to get the best wave, and he does a lot of the times, as we just saw in that wave then.
So what are you giving that last ride, Belly?
You gave it a 7.1. I'm thinking I'm giving it an 8.3. Well, that was a little smaller for the sets, but we'll see.
No, I think I went high 7.
Oh, did you? Okay.
All right, boys, back to you. Belly's got to watch the rest of the heat.
Thank you, Strider. Stephen Bell, really proud of this performance from Wiggolly Dantas and knows exactly why he's so dangerous. Belly's been around for a long time. He's seen lots of surfing, and what they're doing there is what everyone does, scoring the wave, seeing if they're fitting into the judges' scale. What do you think, Potts?
Well, I tell you what, it's not a clean barrel. You can see him foam ball right there. I mean, geez, that was critical. I mean, if the judges could see inside that, I think their opinion of this wave would change, but it wasn't a clean exit. Got clamped at the end, but managed to come out. Nonetheless, it's still the best wave of the heat, and the judges have got to keep that scale accordingly. So they've kept it low up until this point, and then finally a solid score drop for Wiggolly. I had a chat to him out in the lineup, and he's quite enjoying this time off, and he said it's taken him a while to get in that headspace of, hey, I don't have to do anything.
Locking in a late takeoff. Michel Bourez airdrops, stomps it, pulls in. Will he make this one? Another wave that takes him down at the tail end. Didn't give him an opening, completely shut down. So now his fourth straight attempt to make one. His 1.87 was an absolute bomb. Sometimes a takeoff is one of the most exciting things to watch in surfing. He looks so comfortable on the biggest sets out here.
Yeah, well, he's used to surfing Chopu, and that's probably one of the scariest drops you can come across. You've got to be under the lip. You've got to take off super late every single time. You've got to trust your board, trust your ability. Let's have a look at Michel here. You can see a little bit of air drop, a little bit of air underneath the board as he came down. But again, just this wave not opening wide enough for Michel to come out, just clamping on him right there. Got sucked up a little high and pushed up and over the fall. So Michel Bourez, another small score from him. Beautiful drop though. A 1.27, and that was pretty much for the drop. That wave just ran away. You can see just crunching at the end there. No exit.
So a tough heat for the Spartan so far. He's made the semifinals here in the past in smaller conditions.
be ready for too much, and I realize I'm not in a free surf. I'm in the heat, so I need to make some points and put an impression on him. And yeah, I'm so happy to be on the quarters, special, like coming here and do so well in those kind of conditions. So make me more exciting for the tomorrow. And yeah, I heard about it's going to be bigger than this, so yeah, I can't wait.
Pushing through this morning, that was holding those waves wide open. Michel Bourez still in this heat.
Dantas locks in, 2-arm stall on the takeoff, packs it, gets blown out of the barrel. Now setting up this inside section, lets him in and out. Dantas working hard on that last one, making 2 sections, looking to improve on a 4.17 and his lead.
I think he's done that. So Michel Bourez is going to go from needing a 7.4 to quite possibly being in a combo situation, Joe, unfortunately. 10.5 to go, though. He's got plenty of time to try and fight his way out of this. Wiggolly just starting to crank it up. You can see him starting to find those waves, find that groove, work this lineup out. You know, you got to think about it. It's 35 minutes to get your act together out there. Sometimes you paddle out in a free surf and it'll take you literally 45 minutes before you work it out and get a wave. So these guys have got to do it really quickly. Nice takeoff there, dragging his hands straight into the barrel. Beautiful fade, setting this inside up. That was a well-read wave right there. And, well, the judges didn't really like it that much, Joe.
Turns into a 5.33, does improve. Let's watch it from the channel.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful. That sliding into the barrel on your front side, really difficult to do. And a big sort of setup turn, and then a little bonus section on the inside, 5.33. It's one of those low-scoring heats.
Belly had a crazy wipeout yesterday. Right there, he's hooting perfection going underneath these guys. Now back to the action with Bourez. All setup work. He wants to make this tube. Sets himself nice and deep. This wave's going to spit once. And once again, Michel Bourez will be taken down by the foam ball here at Cloudbreak. He's had so many looks at this wave. Now 7 waves ridden for Michel.
Is he slowing down too much, Joe? I mean, like literally when he got to the bottom of that wave, he literally planted his whole body into the face of the wave, and I guarantee you it would have wiped off a lot of speed. You know, maybe sort of get that first pump going, get inside the barrel, and then decide whether or not to slow down. But I think Michel just biting off a little bit more than he can chew, just trying to get too deep maybe.
Now Dantas with a big opportunity. Nice and deep, bonus section, spits once. And without Wiggolly. Had a beautiful takeoff with a ton of speed, but ends up going down. And Bourez, though, even though he's going down in his last handful of tube attempts, 720 is a long time in perfect wave.
Absolutely pumping out there. There's an incredible section through the midway of the wave right now. It's just going off. So absolutely incredible to watch. As you can see right here, he's in the perfect spot, takes off, grabs the wall. I mean, look at this kid, Wiggolly Dantas, holding on, just flowing through the barrel, come to the inside, do another little speed check, bang! Nice surfing right there. Wiggolly looking deadly out here right now.
Thank you, Strider. Dantas now through to the inside, throws a carve on the inside corner, but we also just witnessed Michel Bourez crossing paths with Wiggolly Dantas on the takeoff when Wiggolly had priority. Wiggolly was the man against Connor Coffin, where that costed Connor a whole wave with a priority interference. So a very interesting moment approaching the 5-minute warning.
Well, Michel's going to get an interference as well. You're not allowed to cross paths with the guy that has priority. So Wiggolly Dantas, again, in that situation where he had priority and he took that wave off Michel Bourez. I mean, Michel Bourez was totally committed to that turn. There was no really way out of that. And unfortunately, that's going to be all she wrote for Michel Bourez.
What a tough moment for Michel. Remember, we had the example from Connor Coffin and Wiggolly, where when a surfer has priority, you have undisputed right-of-way on that wave, and the other surfer can't cross paths. That's that key note from the rule book. Let's take another look.
Yeah, well, Michel Bourez took off now. Wiggolly starts to paddle. Michel Bourez needed to straighten out. He needed to straighten off and take the white water on the head, but unfortunately, going in front of Wiggolly, this was a good wave, so Wiggolly Dantas had well and truly every right whatsoever to catch this wave. Wasn't like he was trying to get Michel Bourez on an interference. It was like, hang on a sec, I've got priority. This is looking like an 8.56 to me. Michel Bourez is in a perfect spot. Wiggolly used his priority, which he's quite right to do. And unfortunately for Michel Bourez, we'll get at interference, which means he counts one wave. Right there, Michel realizing, uh-oh, what have I done? He needed to straighten off Joe and go straight towards the tower, take the wave on the head, which he didn't do, and unfortunately that's going to be all she wrote for Michel Bourez.
We see Wiggolly Dantas still capitalizing on this wave, gets barreled, does a bunch of big turns, and that's basically just sealing the deal and getting himself another quarterfinal. Sometimes you can survive with an interference. These days in the top 2 format, especially if it's a priority interference, you take one whole wave away, makes it almost impossible to move on.
Well, there was a situation, before they'd, fully lose one whole wave, they would halve your second highest score, and sometimes you could sort of manufacture a win, but
Let's see if we're going to keep running through the day today. Now we can guarantee you that Wiggolly will be taking on Kelly Slater in the second quarterfinal matchup, which is going to be extremely fun to watch. Kelly's one of those guys too that obviously the best surfer in the world, but also one of the best competitors in the world, and he's going to read this situation quite well in the matchup.
I got a question for you, Joe. Seems
thanks,
how you
Bob.
ask me all the questions. How many interferences Kelly Slater had through his career?
Holy smokes, that is just like impossible to answer.
I think if you go back, it's like probably maybe 1 or 2 maybe in his entire career.
Okay, we're going to go back to the 80s, the 90s. We'll figure this one out. Checking out the heat scores, Wiggolly Dantas 14.27 total, taking out Michel Bourez, unfortunately getting that prior interference at the very end of that matchup.